What's going on, guys? Veve back with another video. We're here joined with
a very special guest today. Let's see who it is.
Hey everyone, it's Brian Veve Vision, and I'm back with another stuff.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Disclaimer: we are not professionals. We are not financial advisors. This is not financial advice. Do your own due diligence and enjoy the video.
Let's go.
Let's go.
This is, oh my, for anybody watching this, shout out to you if you're a fan of Butt or a fan of us, or you're new to the channel. This is a legendary interview we've got going here. I mean, let's just start off. Butt Thompson here. If you don't know him, you got to check him out. Got a sub, 2.68K subs, 423 videos.
Let's go.
Woo,
that's a lot of
pumping.
I didn't even know how many videos I had. That's insane.
Yeah,
Holy
I
smokes.
I was gonna look for it, and then it popped up perfectly. I was like, okay, this is great. But yeah, I mean, this is really all I wanted to do for the intro. If you haven't checked out Butt Thompson's channel, though, you gotta hop on it, because the spreadsheet, the Reddit talk, just all of it. I mean, just like chilling out. That was one of my favorite things when I started watching, is just like chilling, vibing. Nice little update. Got
just
all the,
always positive. You know, we're always positive over here.
Yeah.
We're always supportive.
Especially,
that's what we're about.
When you take L's too, like you take L's like no other. Like never upset. It's amazing. It's amazing.
You got to bounce back. You got to be ready to bounce back every time, because honestly, like, I've missed out on so many great Veve NFTs, man. I'm telling you. And if I was like gonna get mad about all of them, I dang near would have quit Veve by now. But like honestly, like the fact that I haven't quit has made it to the point where I have this insane Veve collection. I'm sure you guys feel the same way. Like if you give up, you can't get here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it can definitely take a toll on the mental. That's all I know. If you don't. So I love your approach there.
Okay,
sorry, go ahead, Carl.
The first question we're gonna be asking is, like, how did you get started? Like, how did you hear about Veve?
Perfect. And this is what I was hoping to start with, because man, this is like something that I've talked about before, but I think it really does deserve like some deeper dives, because like I feel like sometimes I'm kind of like, how did I even get here? But basically how this all started is like, let's just start just over a year ago. I was just basically so let me just start from square one, okay? Because honestly, we could kind of start from square one. It might make most sense. I've had my best friend. He deserves a huge shout out here. His name is Brown. His name is Austin. He goes by Brown. But man, I'm telling you, like, me and him have been homies since day one, square one. Like, we've been literal best friends since we were like little kids, like little kids, right? So like we've literally been best friends like dang near this whole time. So about a year and a half ago, like maybe about a year ago, he started to really get into investing, and that was something that I already was kind of interested in, was investing. And you know, I had already bought Bitcoin, I had stocks and just some normal stuff like that, and so we kind of like just started bonding over that and really spending time kind of talking about investing like every single day, like day in, day out. We would go on Xbox, play video games, talk about investing, play Xbox, talk about investing. Now, this is where the NFTs come in. So basically, we're investing in crypto, and we're trying to like learn everything we can about all these different cryptos and kind of get into it. And, you know, we start to see NFTs pop up. And honestly, the only reason I got into Veve is because my best friend got into Veve. And the only reason he got into Veve is because he was basically just looking up NFTs, like looking up how to get into them, like looking up what they were about. He finds the Veve app by pure chance, and he really just rolls the dice on it. Now he kind of hit the ground rolling with it, and I was a little bit more hesitant at first, as you guys probably know. I mean, like at first, you guys were probably the same way, where you're kind of like, I'm going to spend how much money? Yeah, you're like, I'm going to spend how much on a piece of art? Like, what the heck? But so when I started, I had told my best friend that I had liked the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man from the Ghostbusters series. And he actually went out and got me one of those. And that was literally my first like exposure to Veve. And I remember getting that thing and putting it in augmented reality and just being like blown away, like, holy smokes, like, how is this not way bigger? This is insane. And basically at that point, he basically was kind of like, from that point on, just to kind of give you guys a time kind of reference, he was kind of like, man, you've got to get on here. And I remember distinctly him telling me, like, you've got to buy this you've got to buy this Harley Quinn. And he was talking about the Bruce Tim Harley Quinn. He was basically like letting me know that these were starting to sell out. And that's basically like, to be quite 1000% apparent, like transparent with you guys, that was kind of like maybe like one of my earliest memories is him telling me that. And that was like one of the first pieces that I actually bought was the Bruce Tim Harley Quinn, because he had told me like, man, this thing is selling fast. And he had told me like, man, it's kind of expensive, but I'm
so
telling
you
it's gonna
bought
go
in
up.
store?
Yeah. Was that when they didn't sell
Yeah.
out?
That
That's
was in
crazy.
the Veve store. Yeah,
Oh
that
my
was
God.
in the Veve shop, and that was how early I was in, and we got in pretty early, and I've been making this YouTube content for a really long time, you know, and it kind of go all the way back, and this was like. Okay, so when he bought me the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man that he gave me, that kind of got me into it. He bought that from the market a long time ago, because there was like this period where the market was open, and then there was like a 4-month period where the market was actually closed down before the market was like open and like functioning like it is today. And so like he bought me the Stay Puft like way back in the first opening of the market, and he got it for like 30 or 40 bucks, I feel like he told me. And that thing, it was like nothing, right? And then like basically the market closed, and that's basically like when I started in there, was like right as the market closed down is kind of when I hopped into Veve, and I started basically just making content. I never really had any intention of like kind of even hitting it like that, you know what I mean? Like I was just started collecting, and the thing is like I would be like, man, I wish there was a spreadsheet that had all the prices on it, and I just made that spreadsheet. And then I was just like, I wish there was content that talked about these prices, about these NFTs that would be on this spreadsheet. And so I just made it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
literally, I just basically hopped in and I just made the content that I felt that was trying to find that I couldn't. And so that's kind of how it all started, man. It was kind of it kind of feels surreal to me still, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like I've always kind of been, I don't know, I guess I don't want to sound conceited, but I've always kind of been somewhat popular, but I never really could have even imagined that I would have had any kind of chance at having like a platform on YouTube, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I don't know, it's kind of a leap of faith, and like I like to make a video was just so random for me to even do, and
I watched your first video.
And it's funny because this where I'm sitting right here is where I make my videos, and where I'm sitting right here is where I do my work during the day. I literally sat here for 8 hours today doing my real job. This laptop that I make the videos on is my work laptop. Like I literally put like I'm kind of like a humble video beginnings type of guy to some degree, because I never really was planning on being like a video content creator. You know what I mean? Just like one day I was just like, man, I just want to make a video because like I want this content to be out there. And so like I was just like, here's what I have available to me is my laptop. And like that's also one thing I really appreciate about you guys is you guys are just like, man, you guys just make the content, man. You guys just hit the ground running so hard, man. And like, it's just like you guys are just banging out content, and like the thing is like you guys know that you guys will eventually be able to upgrade. Like you guys know that, and you guys know that there'll be opportunities, but like you guys aren't trying to rush success. You guys are just really trying to get the content that you guys need to be out there. And like that's what I love about you guys' channel is just the fact that like the content that you're putting out feels genuine in that way, that like this is what you guys feel like needs to be out there. And that's what I love about it, man. That's what I love about it.
Couldn't have said it better. Like you touch on so many things, because I have a bunch of questions related to that stuff, but I got to pay homage because when we were thinking about this channel, it was so spontaneous. Like I had been watching your vids a lot, and Carter and I got to this point where we would call every night, like FaceTime or call pretty frequently, and just talk about Veve, what we think prices are doing, where we think Veve's going, any updates coming. And we were like, we should just start a channel. Like we talk about this, and like we could make content. Like you said, there weren't a lot of creators. Like it was this kind of limbo where like there weren't a lot of people. And so we felt like, maybe we'd have a chance if we get in early, like you never know. So then we went at it. And when we were thinking about the channel, I was like, I love Butt Thompson's videos because they're so genuine. Like you'll talk about like what you got for lunch, and it's like just chilling with the homies. And I loved that. And so like, that's definitely something we wanted to like implement in our videos, is just like, keep it genuine, keep it real, just chill and just talk about it. Like, that's so perfect. And I love that you touched on that, because that was definitely like a major inspiration. And Yeah, just got to pay homage. But when you
Yeah.
mentioned the getting into it, I wanted to ask, so you kind of found your niche with the spreadsheet and stuff, but prior to Veve, were there any other like projects where you were as bullish, any other like invest? I know you mentioned like Bitcoin and like some stocks, but were there any other projects where you like felt this invested?
I'm not gonna lie to you. Not well. Okay, so there's one cryptocurrency that I'm a huge fan of, which is called Algorand. Which I mean, that's a project that I do truly strongly believe in, and I really like it. So that's one that I always really kind of have a soft spot for. But beyond that, not really. Like it's kind of funny too because like it's almost like it's so funny that you say that too because it's almost like man, my life was kind of like lacking direction until I found
And
Veve.
then you
You know what I
found
mean?
it.
That's
And
actually,
it's
yeah.
like it's kind of funny because like I think about before and I kind of just feel like looking back now, it kind of just felt like I was spinning my wheels, you know what I mean? And like maybe I didn't feel like that at the time, but like kind of looking back now, it certainly feels like maybe that's what was happening. Because now that I do have Veve, I do feel like I've got this community, like got the YouTube, you know what I mean? And then on top of that, we've got the app or we've got the drops that we can kind of take part in every week. I mean, there's just so many
Yeah.
facets of it, you know what I
The
mean?
community
And
There's
is insane.
it adds so much. And I'm telling you, like I'm sure you guys already know about it. I need to hear from both you guys about this, but like the feedback, like the
Yeah.
interaction I get from YouTube, like a lot of times is like really like so critical and so important to like keep me motivated to keep making content. And I want to know like, is that what you guys think as well? Like just seeing the comments of people saying like I appreciate the content and things like that.
Yeah. Carter, you can take that first. I'll follow up.
Yeah, I mean, literally just looking at the comments from everybody because I had a channel like before Veve stuff, and the people on there is nothing like the community on Veve. Like everybody's so happy on Veve, like always cheering each other on and everything. It's crazy. And yeah, like looking forward to the drops every week. It's like you always have something to look forward to. It just, I don't know, it adds so much enjoyment, I
Yeah,
guess.
I definitely gotta like add on to that. Just the community, like I've never been a major part of any real community, but the community, like the Veve community, and especially our supporters, shout out to everybody supporting the channel. Like it's just insane. Like I've never felt as like welcomed or as like I don't like not even like appreciated, but just like I don't know. They're just so welcoming. They're so chill. They really like seem to enjoy our content, but there's also this other side of like when we got into YouTube, we're kind of like exposed to like just people like love to like spread hate. Like we'll have a bunch of comments of like, you know, really appreciate the content, like keep it up. You guys are doing great. And like shout out to everybody saying that because we really appreciate it and we love it. And like the feedback is super important, especially like the constructive criticism. But sometimes we'll just get people coming in the comments, just like spewing out hate. And it's like we had to kind of get used to like, you know, people are just going to do that. Like that's human nature. Like there's always some people who literally just want to go on the internet and spread hate. And this is a question I wanted to ask you is like, have you encountered a lot of that? And if so, like, have you had to like thicken your skin or anything? Because I feel like it hit us a little harder initially. And now we kind of see it and we're like, yeah, that's just how it is. Like there's nothing we can do. People just kind of like to go and do that. I mean,
Um, there, okay, so I know what you mean, and I have like experienced some of what you're describing. It's more like I think it's really just that like the negative feedback really sticks out to you. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And
that's it's definitely
even
like
if
a
it's
needle in the
few and far
haystack.
between, and so like it kind of feels like it feels amplified, even though it's really not. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It feels
that's
like it's
very true.
amplified because it's like the one that's sticking out to you. So
That's definitely.
I've run into that like a little bit. With that being said, like I always kind of put on like a tough exterior, you know, in my videos, and it's not like I don't know, like to some degree it's fake and to some degree it's real, and sometimes the line is kind of blurred. And like ultimately, like one thing I've kind of like learned in life, and it's not really even YouTube that really helped me, is just kind of like having fake confidence is really ultimately the same thing as having real confidence. And like to some degree, I think that kind of applies here, where
Very true.
like if I kind of have this go into it with this mentality of like I'm some kind of like tough guy, a lot of times that stuff doesn't really bother me. And like I'm not some kind of tough guy. I really am not. You know what I mean? But like
Yeah.
I kind of sometimes like to go into it like that. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so and you know, I you know, and it's funny too, because man, it's funny because yeah, no, you're not wrong, but at the same time, I always get an ego like all the time, and I like have to be humbled all the time too, because
Yeah.
I kind of swing the opposite way on the spectrum too, where I do start to get an ego, and I
Very
have to
true.
be humbled. And luckily, I have some, like, my best friend is just absolutely great at humbling me all the time. So like that's like honestly like it's a godsend. And so like yeah, honestly, man, I'm telling you, like, the guy doesn't get enough credit, but man, my best friend he deserves a huge shout out here. If you
Yeah.
guys could
Shout out
him. Shout
to
out
Brown.
call him
Brownie.
Brown, call him Brown. We call him
Brown.
Brown,
I
Brownie, Austin. You can call him whatever you want.
Shout
but
outs to
I think
Brownie.
he's in the
Yes, thanks.
Discord. I think he's in our
Yes, I
Discord.
think he is. I think he
yeah.
is. He's a now
Let's
he's
go.
he's actually a fan of your guys's. I just want you guys to know that it's funny.
Hey.
So he's absolutely great. I'm hoping. I mean, he's got like an absolutely flawless personality too. I mean, he'd be great for like having a conversation on YouTube. So maybe
Yeah.
one day we'll get him on here and
Yeah, for
and
real.
bring him in, because I'm telling you guys would definitely like him. So
Yeah.
but yeah, no, man, I'm 100% with you guys on the kind of, sometimes the negativity does kind of stand out, right? And
Yeah.
you definitely have to kind of learn to kind of get over that. And I think it's important to remember that it's just that I would say, like, if you do experience it, it's important to remember that it's just always going to like stick out to you more, and it's always going to seem more prevalent because you're focused on it, like laser focused on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In reality, it's like 1 out of 1,000 guys, and like, who really cares? Like you're not going to please everybody, and like,
Yeah.
especially
Definitely true.
in this year, and especially in this day and age, like, you just like literally can't please anybody. You could say the same thing twice, and it could like win you 1,000 fans and lose you 1,000 fans, right?
Yeah.
So
Very true.
just remember that. And it's not easy, but I think like it's like something that'll also kind of like helps like with maturity too, to some degree, you know?
Yeah.
And so like I think that's some of it, but I feel like it's funny that we're like kind of talking, because I feel like I'm you guys, but like in like 6 years, you know? That's kind of funny when I like watch you guys. That's kind of how I feel.
Yeah. I mean, definitely like relate. I don't know. I just like feel the vibe. As soon as he joined the thing, we were just like hitting it off.
Yeah.
Like, this is like such a legendary thing. We'll have to do this in the future, but I'm so hyped we finally got to do it, and that you reached out, because when I first saw you shout us out in your video, I like took a video of it, sent it to Carter.
Yeah.
I was like, let's go, like freaking out, because
That was so
it was
sweet.
crazy. Like,
You
yeah,
know, it's
like-
funny. I should have shouted you guys out earlier, man, because I had been watching you guys for a while, but I just like forget sometimes, and I like make these videos at these weird times. So like I'm always trying to like remember everything. But no, go ahead, Carter.
Some of our first videos, like I don't know if it was the very first one, but I'm pretty sure like the
Yeah.
second, third, fourth, fifth, every single
lot
video,
of
Ben's like, shout out about Thompson.
Check out
about
the
Thompson
spreadsheet.
again."
Yeah.
Like, he like,
Yeah.
shouted you out so many times.
Yeah.
because like you were saying, like, I know you mentioned when you were finding your niche, like how you started with the spreadsheets, but that's really something that I think is like, it's so helpful to be able to like visualize the price points, for me especially, and just track them over time and have some kind of data. And especially if you know like any ways to analyze it. I mean, I'm not super big into that, but I just think it's super helpful to have that resource available. And I mean, you gotta, like, anybody who doesn't appreciate it like that, come on now, because
I
you
know.
put in so much work to do that. Especially like, how do you feel now? Because like, I mean, the market's only like, the number of collectibles are only like increasing, and every time you update the spreadsheet, it's got to increase by like what, 10, 15
Yeah.
minutes. So like, have you ever thought also about like automating it or anything like that? Because I don't know a lot about your background, but like, have you ever looked into like any other ways of like reducing that workload on yourself? Because it's got to be like insane at this
Yeah.
point.
I would say like I would say for the most part, I'm just like worried about the integrity of the data. I'm worried about like it getting messed up somehow.
Yeah,
I would say is
that's
pretty much
true.
like the main thing.
Yeah.
It's tough. I mean, like, yeah, you're right. It does get bigger every time, and it's tricky. And I think about like the exit strategy to some degree. I think in a perfect world, eventually Veve will have it figured out, right? And they'll have
Yeah.
a way to kind of have it on the app where you can kind of just easily navigate it. They kind of already started to do it with the comics. You know, they really helped me out a ton with the comics, actually.
Yeah.
Like the comics in like no time now. I just want you guys to know that.
That's nice.
But so like that's true. to be honest with you, I'm naturally really good at data entry, which sounds terrible. I mean, that's not like a good talent.
I mean,
That's actually kind
depends.
of a
It
bad
depends.
talent, right? But it's kind of funny because like it's funny how all these things are all related, man. But it's funny because like all this stuff that I do with the spreadsheet is all because of my real life job. Like I work for a software company, and like it's funny, before I started working there, I didn't know much about like doing anything with spreadsheets. And like it's kind of funny because like even nobody there even really does. I kind of just like picked up that project on my own there, and I kind of like just learned how to do it there. And now like it's kind of like translating into it's like
Yeah.
translated so perfectly into the VB stuff. It's so funny how life can all be related like that, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, you're right though. I do worry about it, but I don't really get that mad about it ultimately. I'm still like, when I update the spreadsheet, like if I don't do it if I just don't feel like it, you know what I mean? Like most of
Yeah.
the time, like I'm excited to though. Most of the time I kind of want to see the data myself. Like
Yeah.
kind of goes back to the beginning where like I'm kind of just curious to see what the data is doing myself, see where the price
Yeah.
trends are going. And so it's kind of exciting for me because I kind of get to see in real time, oh, this piece is up, this piece is down. And also helps me kind of get some ideas of what to talk about during my videos, obviously, which is helpful.
Yeah.
Um,
Carter,
so
you want to head into some VV related questions? I know I've been veering away, but there's so many questions I have.
Yeah. So what are your top three Veve collectibles that like, it doesn't matter what price they are. It doesn't matter if you have them or not either. Like they're just your personal top three.
okay. This is a really tough one now. I
Yeah.
want you to know that. Now, if price is if price doesn't matter whatsoever, right? If price like literally doesn't
Wait,
matter,
it
like,
has to be by looks. Has to be by looks.
okay,
Can't. Yeah.
perfect. Hold on. Let me just go to brands really quick, and let me just kind of think about it, and I'm going to give you a really thoughtful answer here because I already kind of know what I want to say. But I
And
want to
then
make sure. Okay.
also without like, with price taken into consideration, I'd be interested to hear both because I feel like I know one of them for sure. Creep Gang. I don't know if you're still into the Creep Gang, but I feel like that's got to be one of them if it's taken into account.
With the price, I mean, maybe. I mean, that thing's come down a little bit. But okay, so if I had to just pick three based just strictly on art that I think are like the coolest, they're going to be collectibles and they're not going to be posters, okay? But that's just because
Yeah.
those are the artists, and they're not going to be comics because those are the ones that I think are the coolest. Um, Now, I'm going to go ahead and start off with the Disney right away. I'm going to go ahead and go with Disney R2D2. That's just my gut feeling. Like, out of all the Disney pieces, that one's probably my favorite. Like, the Walt and Mickey statue, it's kind of like cool, but at the same time, I wasn't
Yeah.
born in like 1929. It's just like what is, when did this even happen, right? So like,
Yeah.
but then okay, so then I'm going to Batman because Batman just iconic. So like, I'm not gonna lie to you, the Batman's is tough because there's so many great Batman artworks. Okay,
Yeah.
there are some fantastic Batman
And the
artworks.
entire 100 set like series. I mean, have you seen all those? Because they are beautiful. Like they are
The
pieces of
unreleased
art.
stuff.
Like, yeah, I mean, I can't wait for the
Yes,
full set because
yes.
they are
There's
clean.
some insane ones. There's some that are kind of okay, and then there are some that are
Yeah.
absolutely insane. Okay, so
Yeah.
with that being said, the Batman I'm going to go with is my all-time favorite Batman, which is going to be Becky Cloonan Batman. Okay,
Ooh.
Becky Cloonan Batman is my favorite. I love the fact that Becky Cloonan is not standing; she's like floating off the ground, but you can't really tell unless you actually kind of have the NFT and you put it in AR and you kind of see it. I think Becky Cloonan looks amazing, so that's going to be option number two. And then option number three is going to be an all-time favorite of mine, classic OG piece, which is going to be the Steve Pugh Harley Quinn. Absolute
Ooh.
drop dead piece. It looks cool. Like, sure, the piece, like, as far as like artistically, she could like look a little bit better, quote unquote. But like, man, that piece is awesome. I love the fact that she's got the baseball bat, she's got the nice jeans, and the jeans look fantastic in AR, by the way that they're kind of
The
like
detail.
bunched up and the way they're kind of ripped up. It looks great. So those are going to be my three pieces right there for sure.
Tying into that, also like if you still want to do the like money taken into consideration, One of the best clips I've ever seen from you is, or at least one of my favorites, because you just had me like on like rolling because you made the video where like you picked up the Harley Quinn ultra rare, the series 3 ultra rare, and you're explaining it, and that had me like rolling because you're like, the way you looked into the camera, you're like,
me.
I had to have it, man. And then you're like, I don't know what I can say, and then you're just like, I'm a man of the curves or something. Oh my god, that entire
Yep.
like video is just perfect, and I love
Yeah,
it. So
no,
do you
hey
still
man, trust me, that piece is special. I have that piece. Trust me. No, I was tempted to say that piece, but ultimately I love it. It's not in the top three though. It's not in the
Yeah.
top three. It just barely gets eked out by a couple others, I think. I love that piece though, man. I
Yeah, it
still
is.
like that piece. I think that piece looks great, man. I mean, in so many ways. Like,
I love the little ducks too. Like
yeah,
those,
true. Yeah,
they're so
exactly.
cute. Like especially the little one in the back, just like looking lost. Like
Yeah,
gotta relate
yep,
to him.
yep,
But
yep.
All right. What is your biggest L you've taken on VV?
yeah, and
Biggest
dub.
L?
Biggest
Okay.
L's and dubs.
Yeah.
Biggest L, I've talked about this before, but the biggest L was definitely one time I bought one time way back in the day when the DeLoreans had actually dropped. I had actually gotten an ultra rare. I sold it for the common DeLorean price, and that one hurt really bad because this was like early on. There wasn't even that many collectibles, right?
Yeah.
And like, I mean, I just basically took I just ate like $100 loss, and that was kind of big at the time. That was easily the biggest loss. Like, I'll be honest with you, I've always been really cautious since then. If I
Dang.
like anything else that I took a loss on would just be a piece that I bought that really just didn't go up in value, maybe went down in value. But I assure you, like none went down like that hard that it would beat that first thing. I
Yeah.
definitely like took losses on pieces. To be honest with you, I take losses on pieces all of the time. And
Do you just hold
like
them though, or like do you take L's by selling
I
for a loss?
okay, so this is where I'm going to differ from a lot of people and probably you guys. I will sell at a loss. And I know that there's some people that are kind of like these people where they're just going to hold until they're in the green. I'm
Yeah.
not like that. To be honest with you, I'm kind of a person where if I think that there's opportunity somewhere else and the piece that I'm holding doesn't really have opportunity, I'm just going to go where the opportunity is. Like
Yeah.
whether or not I'm in the red, I'll just sometimes take that. It's paid off and sometimes it's backfired. Ultimately,
Yeah.
you take your wins and you take your losses. You just got to hope that at the end of the day you have more wins than losses. And I think so far I do have more wins than
Yeah.
losses, right? So I'm feeling pretty good about it. I mean, most of the moves I do make are pretty solid. I mean, most recently on my channel, I talked about buying I bought a Spider-Man rare for
Zombie
$3.99, and I
Hunter.
just no
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
not the Zombie Hunter one, just the
The one.
Just
jumping
the
into
rare.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
jump
Yeah,
into
yeah.
action.
Okay.
And I bought it for $3.99, and I just sold it yesterday for $5.50. And then
Hey.
I bought a C3PO, a second one. I had that one already,
Hey.
but and that was a pretty good move, that buying that Spider-Man for $3.99, because I ended up flipping it just a week later for
Yeah.
$5.50. It's not the biggest flip, but it's definitely solid. It's definitely really
This
solid.
this definitely ties into something I wanted to ask you. And I mean, it sounds like you've kind of answered this, but I just want to kind of ask again, is like, when it comes to the VV marketplace, are you a big like hodler, or are you a move maker? Like, are you kind of like tracking prices, trying to buy in on certain things you think might like increase soon and then selling and then moving money around? Like, do you make a lot of market moves, or are you kind of just, chilling? Because I feel like Carter makes a lot of moves, and I just kind of like hold things. I sit there, I sell occasionally, but I'm kind of like chillax. But yeah, I was just wondering.
I switch between you and Carter. So it's funny because like most of the time I'm a holder. Most of the 99% of the time I'm a holder. But when I find a piece that I want, I'm gonna sell everything to get it immediately. And that's kind of how it is whenever there's a drop that I really want. With Decon, it was kind of a problem. There was so many drops. And I was just like, man,
Yeah.
there's so much. And I ended up kind of going with the ones that I really wanted to get. I ended up with maybe 4 or 5 pieces out of that thing. So, but I ended up selling all pieces to get the money to buy the decon drops, right? So like I'm definitely kind of like in the middle though, where like today, for instance, I didn't even make any moves at all. Probably tomorrow I won't make any moves, but as
Yeah.
soon as there's a piece that I like think in my mind that I want for even like a second, I'm gonna immediately try to get it. I'm like very impatient in that way. As soon as I want something, I try to get it immediately. But I'm kind of like always waiting for that. And it's kind of funny because sometimes there'll be an old piece that catches my eye, and I'll be like, I gotta have it. You know what I mean? It doesn't always have to be a new piece, but it could be any piece really. But just kind of, I'm kind of in the middle though, where I'll make a ton of moves in order to get something I really want, but it's most of the time I'm just a holder. I'm not making moves on the daily, but it's funny because when I first started VV, I was making moves on the daily basis because I was like a person that like back in the early days of VV, it was actually kind of really easy to make money on the marketplace. Just literally make money on the marketplace by buying and selling. And like there was a point where I could make like $100 a day just by buying and selling on the marketplace. And so I was like busting a ton of moves. And it would just basically be like, I would be like watching the unicornos and they'd have a floor of like 15 and I would see one come up for 12 and I would buy that one. And
back when there weren't so many snipers.
And I would like, I'd buy that for 12 and I would immediately list it for like 14.50 if the floor is 15 and I would make like a buck or two, but I would do that like a ton of times per day. And like I was getting all these movements from that, right? That definitely tapered off with the increase of fees and a lot of other stuff. Go ahead, Carter.
I remember when I like was originally looking to buy stuff in the market, I was going for the auctions, and because you know how there's like that. No, it was easier at the time because they would be going for like 6 and then you just bid and it would be like 6 hours 10 cents, 6 hours 20 cents, and then it would eventually just end. And like you just get it for like $6 instead of 12. Like it was way easier to do that.
I feel like auctions did have a period, but at this point I feel like most people list it for pretty high. And if there is a steal on there, like people snag it up and fight for it. And then there's always someone who comes in and just gouges it and like, jumps the floor or the bid price up like 100. And it's like, okay, I'm not going for that anymore. But
yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I've gotten a couple of solid deals on the auctions, but yeah, I agree with you. I think there's probably just too many eyes nowadays. There's too many eyes out there.
Yeah, just this ties into something else, but I mean, the user base has grown so much, and I know there's like positives and negatives to it. We've got a lot of snipers and all the bot talk and stuff, but what do you think about Veve's growth? Because I mean, you've been here from the beginning. You've been in before us. Definitely before us. And so like, I mean, you've seen the growth and we've seen, the growth while we've been here. And some of these new users, I feel like that are on our channel may not be aware of like all they've done, but like, I don't know if you remember Clockgate or whatever, but like we've come so far. So I don't just whatever you have to say on that, because I think it's amazing, honestly.
Yeah. I would say like the easiest way, I mean, like I could describe it simply as like when I started on VV, I mean, like I believed in VV, but it was like there was always kind of this possibility that maybe it wasn't going to kind of get pulled off the way that we were hoping, you know what I mean? But as time went on, I mean, they really just executed on everything. And maybe on delayed timelines, but at the end of the day, I mean, they've got a license with Disney, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like when I started, the community wasn't nearly as big. There wasn't like nearly as many people. And like we had DC, you know what I mean? We had this huge brand and we had Adventure Time and we had Powerpuff Girls. And so like, it was kind of like, wow, we've got these huge brands, but at the same time, it was kind of always like, there's a chance that maybe this isn't it. But man, I'm telling you, since then, it's like 100% changed. Where like now I'm just like, holy smokes, like VV did exactly what they needed to do. I mean, ultimately, like they executed on a plan and like, it was a good plan, right? So like they executed on their plan perfectly. And so with that being said, I think that I'm very happy with where we are right now, because I think that this is a trajectory that VV saw coming potentially. And for that reason, I feel very good, because like we're firing on all cylinders, and
we're just warming up though.
Yeah, I know, exactly. And we might exactly, and we could be in the first quarter, and like I like if we're having growing pains, like I really don't get too mad about that. In one of my more recent videos, I kind of said like, oh, if I miss drops, I might just buy a Omi because at the end of the day, like it means that the app is growing like crazy if you're not able
Yeah.
to hit like so many drops in a row. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
means that the app's growing like crazy. It might be a good time because like I truly kind of think that that's kind of a good way of looking at it. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I think VB has absolutely killed it. I think the rate we're growing is pretty insane, but I have confidence that we're in good hands. I really do. I really,
Yeah.
really do.
I mean, go ahead, Carter.
I was just gonna say, when was the first time you ended up buying Omi? Like, do you remember what price it was? I know I spent like a decent chunk of what I wanted to put in at 0.0069. So like it's like literally the same level right now.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
had that
it's
little
funny.
jump
I was
recently.
gonna say, I mean, the first time was before it dumped, so like I don't even really remember to be honest with you. It was probably the first time I bought Omi, it was probably 0.006, 0.007. I was a little bit late to buy Omi.
Mhm.
I was on the
It's
VV
hard.
I was on the VV app before for a while before I actually ended up with Omi though, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah, I was the other way. I ended up buying the crypto before I like even touched the collectibles because I got it from Andre Jick. And so like
oh wow.
he was talking about the crypto in like millennial money before he posted a video. So then I like hopped on. I was like, how do I buy it and all that stuff. It took some days, but finally ended up
And
going through with it.
Wow, that's
uh,
crazy, man. It's so crazy how people find it
yeah.
the opposite side. And then you found the collectibles, I'm assuming, because you had Omi, right?
Yeah. I
Right?
actually I was explaining it to Ben. Like I wasn't even thinking about the collectibles. I was trying to like sell Ben on the
We
crypto
were
and
sitting in
everything.
my garage and Carter's like
Yeah,
explaining
yeah.
to me what an NFT is. And like there were 2 days we hung out in a row and I was like, okay, sell me on VV and sell me on NFTs. Like what even are they? And like so we'd have these long talks and you can go ahead with what you were saying, but it was hilarious how it started.
I don't know. Just it was really Ben that got me into like the NFTs because like me seeing him have interest in the actual NFTs, I was like, dang, these things like are pretty cool and stuff. And then that's just when I started like looking. But if it wasn't for like me talking to Ben, I probably would have just stayed on the crypto side for a lot longer. Because I mean, there weren't a ton of YouTubers out at the time. Like I saw your videos, probably like 800 subscribers or something, and then I don't know. I saw Cavell a lot and Kyle Wilson, but other than that, I
Yeah.
don't really remember seeing anybody else
Yeah,
that I can like think
definitely
of.
start out small, but where did I get you into it more like recently before we started the channel when we would talk?
Well, that
Because
too, yeah.
oh, okay.
Because
Yeah,
there was a little
because
time when it died off a little.
yeah, there I remember there was a time when like Carter wasn't really into it. Like he was just kind of out of it. I don't think he went for drops and like the whole summer I was like on the drops. I was getting Superman on drop and like just like heavy into VV. And then I like called Carter and he like it seemed like he slowly got back into it. But
It's funny that you say that too, because that's exactly how I feel about with my best friend. We're like, it was almost like the fact that we are who we are made it so that we like
yeah.
got into VB. And like my best friend is like different than me in some very important ways, and like I'm somebody that's not I don't really always like pull the trigger on stuff, and my best friend was kind of like bugging me like, dude, get this
Yeah.
Harley Quinn, get this Harley Quinn, get this Harley Quinn. But I'm telling you, like he knew that he needed to bug me, and it worked out perfectly because I actually did. But I feel like you guys might have the same dynamic where like you guys like being together is kind of like the perfect storm that got you guys here, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that definitely. I mean, I couldn't have been in the app without Carter for sure. But then once it happened, I feel like we definitely like fueled each other kind of and like rolled off from each other in turn because Carter will always give me little like, moves, I guess, and stuff like that when we talk. And I feel like there's sometimes when like I might sell him on things. I feel like it's more so the other way, but I definitely feel that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
when I wasn't into it, it was literally because I was down like 50% of whatever I put in Omi or whatever. I was just like hurting. I was like, I don't
Down
want to touch
bad.
that app anymore. Like, I'm just gonna wait until my money's up. Yeah,
Yeah.
but since we keep talking about Harley Quinn, I wanted to pull up the like VV, if you like the VV app store, and if you click it, there's I don't know how well you guys can see this. You see the Harley Quinn though? It's the
Yeah.
same one as the black and white version.
It's in
and red,
color though.
right?
Yeah, and it says ultra rare at the bottom, and it looks like it's only a
Ooh.
3-digit mint, and it has the red background.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I love that first appearance. Harley Quinn is like
Yeah.
something about it. It's simple, but I love that piece.
Do
And
you guys think
go ahead.
do you guys think that's, I mean, it looks like that's a completely separate collectible because it's just labeled Harley Quinn. So
Yeah, it could be promotional. With that being said, I would love to see like variants of collectibles. I mean, we had the variants of comics, right? But we
Yeah,
don't really have variants of collectibles. It would be cool if there was something like that for some of them.
yeah.
I mean, I guess with some collectibles there is though. I mean, like the
The Dragon Girl,
OGs, the Dragon Girls, there's a few others that are kind of like that. The Ghost Bears
apes.
are kind of like that, right?
Yeah,
So like there are some like that, I suppose.
yeah.
But I would like to see some like superhero variants though for sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, what do you guys think is going to be like customizable first? Like what, like, do you think Todd is going to get like some sort of animation or customizable thing or anything like soon?
They gotta animate Todd's cape, man. Becky
Yeah.
Cloonan too. Like those capes, they gotta animate those, get those little flutter going because those would look real crispy with that. But
Yeah, I always thought like something where Todd kind of like comes in like a cloud of smoke or maybe comes in from the ground would be
yeah,
cool for Todd too.
or hits
Because
the
like
little like
because then you
type of
wouldn't really need to like animate the actual NFT if it's like him just coming in on smoke and then Todd's there,
yeah,
or if it's like him coming up from the ground and then Todd's there, then you won't actually need to animate the actual NFT itself. With that
yeah,
being said, I mean they obviously know how they did it. With that being said, I mean I would hope so. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't, you know what I mean? Because like I don't know, like they animated Ritmo a long time ago out of the blue,
yeah. That
but
was so like why Ritmo? Just like that was so weird. I feel like what do you think? Kind of tying into that, like, do you think Vivi does some weird stuff behind the scenes sometimes in terms of like, because like the Necronomicon or whatever, like jumped in price before
Yeah.
they dropped the updated like animated version or whatever, and it's like what's going on there? I don't know what your thoughts are, but
I don't really know. I don't really know too much about it. All I would say is that I think a lot of this stuff is like built into the app beforehand. Like I think Ritmo was probably animated since day one. We probably just didn't know. You know what I
and
mean?
they just
It's
finally
very
released it.
possible.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
that's
very
true.
possible, and it's very possible with the Necronomicon also came out and it was totally able to be opened up because Necronomicon kind of felt like it was lackluster because I
Yeah,
initially
like
when I
what?
saw it, I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. It'll be cool to have like on a bookshelf, but then I got it and then I put it in AR and I was kind of like,
Yeah, it's just
it's
a
not.
book.
And so I think all this stuff is kind of pre-planned though. I think everything that we have like is planned out though. You know what I mean? So I think if Todd is animated, there's a good chance it already is. I'm just
Yeah,
throwing that out there.
could be.
I don't think it is though. I don't think it is. I mean, Ritmo is obviously way easier to animate than Todd. Todd's kind of like
Yeah, a lot
mostly a
more.
cloak, and you got to figure out how to make him look to scale while the cloak is moving and all this stuff. So, I don't know. My instinct tells me it won't be animated, but what I know is that like anything is possible,
Yeah.
and I know that everything VB does is intentional. So, I think that they'll do the right thing. You know.
Yeah. What do you think about like the Viviverse and like where do you see the future of the collectibles? Like, do you think they will always be just like, still, or do you think like you'll be able to like VR chat kind of thing, or like you'll be able to be Todd Mack and like walk around as Todd Mack in the Viviverse in VR or something like that? Because like when I invest in things or like when I, buy collectibles on Vivi, like that is definitely one thing I'm always thinking is like, would I want to be this in like the Viviverse? Because like Ultraman 7, I love that, but like I want to be able to walk around as him or something, like take the sword out and swing that around and stuff like that. And so like I just want to know what your thoughts are on like the possibilities or what they could do in the future when it comes to collectibles. Or do you think they'll just stay as like, 3D statues that you can place around?
Yeah, sure. This is a good question because I've thought about this quite a bit and I don't know the answer and I'm not some kind of
Yeah.
future genius or
Yeah.
anything like that either. So it's tricky for me to say. I mean, what I'll say is that like in order to be able to walk around as Todd, you would have to have some kind of motion capture of Todd walking around so that you could articulate it. So I don't think that it's very feasible to have all of these NFTs be motion captured. So since that's the case, I mean, as far as NFTs are concerned, I could see it being a situation where like if you're moving around in a metaverse, you're kind of like as some kind of avatar, but then if you're stationary, that's when you transform into your NFT. And it's kind of like maybe the most practical thing in my mind I'm thinking of,
Yeah.
right? Is like
Yeah.
you kind of turn into your NFT once you're stationary.
Yeah, that
Um,
I think that would definitely be easier to achieve than, full on animation like you were saying.
yeah, I think like if you do want full on animation, you're kind of like thinking like maybe a few too many steps ahead because I don't think that that's like the next step forward. I
Yeah.
think that's like a
Yeah, I
few
think
steps forward, right?
yeah, I'm
So like,
talking like far future. I'm
yeah,
not thinking like, oh, they're going to drop this in a couple weeks, but
yeah.
I just
I mean, like ideally, sure. Yeah, I mean, I do want it to be a situation where you can be any of these characters. It's still very impractical, even to say that it's going to happen outside and like very far off in the future because there's all these NFT projects that are happening like every single day.
yeah.
So like
Yeah.
effectively like what you're saying is like all of these should be able to be motion captured. And what if somebody's a llama and what if somebody's a person and what if somebody's like a dragon? You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. So I think it's a little bit tricky to logistically think about it. I would love it. I think for the metaverse, I think that I still, I don't know. I mean, I still struggle, I would say, with the practicality of the metaverse.
Yeah.
Like when I think about it, I'm like, how practical is this? How
Yeah.
practical is this? And maybe it is practical and maybe I'm missing it. So it's a little bit tricky for me to say because I kind of like run into these bottlenecks where I'm kind of like, I don't know how the metaverse is really going to interact because like
Yeah.
in some instances I could see where like if you were in a digital world, like for like work, like in my job, I could see like where being in a metaverse would be helpful sometimes. Most of the time, I just feel like I would want to be able to like transition between the real world and the metaverse really
Yeah.
fast and really seamlessly, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know too much about it, man. I think about it all the time, but I just don't. I'm just not smart enough. I'm just a normal dude.
Yeah.
So I would just say like I just hope that it's practical and like I don't know. I just hope that it's practical. I would say it's like what I would say is like what I hope they think about while they're making it is like making sure that it makes sense to actually do it because like that's what I worry about.
Yeah, when it comes to, sorry if I'm cutting you off, Carter.
There you go.
When it comes to practicality, like Meta's trying to make that practicality, like Facebook's, change and everything. So like, do you think it's possible? I'm sorry about all the speculation too, but I love to hear your speculation because like when you talked about Gary V and speculating why he, when he said that, like I loved that segment. Like your take on that, I thought was really good. And so I want to mention a few of these, speculation related things, but like could you see Veve like partnering, or do you think they're just going to stay kind of solo, or even maybe with Disney, because Disney wants to, they've mentioned that they're kind of hype on the metaverse thing. And so do you think when it comes to practicality, they may partner with someone bigger or upscale or something like that and get, something really going where like you could either bring your Veve collectibles into like Meta or Facebook's like, metaverse and use them there and like, work things out like that. And where you could, go to work and it would just be like a fancy Zoom, but you're in a metaverse and you can use your Veve, collectibles there or whatever you have. So yeah, like I guess what are your thoughts on that? Or do you think Veve will kind of stay solo and just kind of have their own thing?
I think that they will partner with somebody.
Yeah.
I don't think every company in the world is equipped to create a
Yeah.
video game caliber
Yeah.
experience. And I'm not saying that Veve isn't, but I
With
know
their
that
current
Vivi's
scale.
like I was gonna say Vivi's team is small and
Yeah.
companies that develop video games are not small. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
to think that is tricky. So I think that they will be partnering up with people. I don't think it's really. I don't know. It comes again. They kind of think about practicality. You know, it has to make sense to be in the metaverse. And so,
Yeah.
does Vive have what it takes to make their own metaverse that's attractive enough to pull people from other competing metaverses? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I think if they partner with somebody, they certainly could.
I
If without partnering, I don't know if Vive has enough draw power,
yeah.
right, to like
That's
pull people from some kind of like more mainstream metaverse, I would say.
I feel like Carter and I both agree with that. If you want to say
Yeah.
something, Carter.
I think partnering with Niantic is like their key. Like
Yeah, for
they
AR.
would, yeah, that would like go together so well, especially
I
because like the whole Pokemon thing.
yeah.
And what do you think is coming Friday?
What do I
Yeah,
think is
what
coming
Andre
Friday?
Jick,
Oh
we
my
got to ask
gosh.
about that.
Oh my
And
gosh.
also, yeah, I got something to follow that up, but we need
Trust
to
me.
hear what you think about this.
Trust me, I wish I knew Andre Jick. I
It's
wish
all
I had talked to
speculation.
him. I don't know the guy. I don't know him at all. I wish I did. I don't know, man. I mean, I really don't know. I mean,
Do you think it's Do you think
So,
it's possibly Pokemon?
well,
do I think it's Pokemon? I'm gonna have to go with no. I don't
Yeah.
think it's Pokemon. I don't think it's Pokemon.
hold up.
Is it simply as something as simple as Andre Drick is going to drop a video dedicated to the Vivi and Omi app? That's what I would say the most likely scenario is. It's simply going to be a video where he dedicates the whole thing to the platform and he's really trying to draw people in. I could be wrong about that. I don't.
I'm definitely with you on that. I think it'll be a video, but I was watching like Randy Chavez. Shout out to Randy Chavez. He posted this thing, and I want to share my screen quick because this makes me think. And if not, this is mega trolling, and I really don't want them to do it. But David, you tweeted this
Dragon Ball Z thing.
the like IMX and Vivi to the moon recently. And so I'm wondering if like Andre Jick would maybe announce that. But then at the same time, I'm like, is it the best time to drop IMX right after all this like, hysteria or whatever over like the hack or whatever that happened? So that makes me doubt it. But then him tweeting this, I'm like, what's going on here?
That's the thing about the cryptic messages.
Yeah, bro.
Because that's also a Dragon Ball Z meme. So it's kind of like, oh, maybe they're hinting they're dropping Dragon Ball Z.
That would be sweet.
Definitely.
There's no way they release IMX without a big brand. Like it would.
Yeah, and
like, there's no point in that,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. We just wanted to ask what your thoughts were because like
I wish I knew, man. Trust me. I wish I had insider knowledge. I really do. I'm gonna go ahead and speculate that Andre Jake. Right now, my speculation is that Andre Jake will just be basically dropping a video dedicated to the VB app, and maybe he has already. So maybe I'm just tripping.
Yeah, he has a couple, but he could, like not pump it, but just go into detail and explain like maybe why he's bullish on it or something, or why he's getting more into it. I definitely think that's feasible.
I think like that, yeah, exactly. It could be like him, like a video about him doubling down on his investment on Omi and VV, something like that. And like I would say that's like the most likely because it's not that crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would say like the crazier explanations are usually the harder ones to think are real. But like obviously I would love for it to be Pokemon. I would love for it to be Dragon Ball Z. I would say that those two are unlikely. Also because they haven't really done anything where they've like given somebody drop information. You know what I mean? They've always been the ones that have revealed it themselves. And so it's kind of like, I don't know. It would kind of go against them to some degree to like all of a sudden now, oh, we're going to give Andre Jick something. And like Andre Jick he's just some guy. You know what I mean? It's not like he's the biggest YouTuber.
Yeah, he's definitely like big in the crypto and stuff. And I think he like, I mean, 1 million plus like subscribers or whatever, like he definitely has potential. But I think like that safety net guess or speculation is definitely like he could make a video and basically just give more exposure and kind of not like pump it, but just, exposure to his audience that might end up investing or getting into it too. And I mean, even if like 100,000 of those people join, like that's a big chunk, like I'll take it. So
I don't know. I don't know if it was like Dan or who said it on the VV team, but somebody said like this week is going to be big. So that makes me also think if that ties in with the Andre thing and with like, okay, I don't know about Pokemon. I'm thinking like a Nintendo, if they release something with Nintendo, that's more likely than Pokemon probably. But I could also see them doing Pokemon just because if they aren't partnered with Niantic, then they probably want to get these out quicker than Niantic. Or if they are partnered with Niantic, maybe they want to release these now so Niantic knows how many people they're going to be like getting and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, man, that's a hard one. It's so hard
one of those
to tell.
where you're just excited to find out, man. But you just it just
we'll
gives
have
us something to look forward to,
Yeah,
that's what we got to be happy about.
Yeah, definitely check Bud Thompson's channel this Friday. I'm sure he'll be updating when something comes out. I know
Hey,
we'll
man,
be updating, but
I'll have a video out at 4 p.m. Central Time,
yes,
and
sir.
hopefully at that point we'll know,
Yeah.
So
Um,
Go ahead.
what's the best thing you've gotten on a drop? Like, have you gotten any secret rare comics or anything?
Yeah.
I got a secret rare comic. Yeah, I got a secret rare comic, Marvels. It was one of the not. It wasn't the original OG Marvel comic. It
Yeah,
was the
that
one
would
that
have
was
been.
called Marvels with
Oh,
an
okay.
S. So that one was like the sixth or seventh comic maybe that came out. I got a secret rare on that one. It was very lucky. I was very fortunate. I ended up selling it, but feel
Yeah.
very fortunate on that. Otherwise, I haven't gotten any secret rares on any collectibles. I don't think that's kind of the
Dang.
funny thing. I think I've only gotten ultra rares on collectibles as my best ultra besides the comic. I had the one secret rare comic, and that was pretty much it. I mean, for secret rares, and then just ultra rares. Really, I mean, there was probably a few times where I could have probably gone for secret rares and got them, but I had gone for something else, for whatever reason.
Yeah. I think the best, closest thing that I ever came to was that golden dragon girl. And then I fumbled the bag when I came to the buy now button. And I was like,
Oh yeah,
bro, that like ruined my day. My like mom was visiting me and stuff. And we were like walking around and I was just like, it was weighing on me because I was just like, oh my God, like I just fumbled like 1,500 gems. Like, why did I do that? But once again, back to Bud Thompson's philosophy when it comes to BB. You can't take it too hard. You got to move
Yeah,
on.
just got to keep on going, man, because there's going to be another drop, you know what I mean? And you got
Yeah.
to be ready for the next. Like, you got to, like, if you sit there and get mad about it, you really should be focused on, like, what you could have done better, obviously,
Yeah.
right? And you can kind of just see if you can make an improvement. I mean, I try to get better every time. Like, the most recent drop, I failed, but I learned a lesson about the one tab drop trick, and I kind
Yeah.
of, like, learned my lesson about it. So, sometimes I'll try a new drop technique and on a drop and, I fail, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like I'm just totally just trying it, you know what I mean? And just how it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just how it is. And yeah, you're right. I mean, I kind of have this nonchalant attitude where I'm kind of just like, it's just what it is. And it does hurt though sometimes. I'm not gonna lie to you, it does hurt. I just kind of put off that it doesn't bother me, but sometimes it does. Sometimes it does get to me a little bit, when I do miss
Yeah.
something. It's tough, it
Yeah.
can sting sometimes, and it sucks when you miss out on like a big payday like that. But you just
Yeah.
like also got to remember that like if you miss a drop, you didn't. It's just like
Yeah.
nothing happened, right? It's
You're
not like you
still
lost.
okay.
You
Right.
didn't lose anything. I always get that like I kind of always sometimes kind of a sucker for feeling like that. Like if I don't get something good, it means it feels like I lost something. But in reality, you haven't lost anything if you don't get
Yeah.
it drop. And I have to like remind myself of that sometimes because sometimes that's all I need to hear.
or like if you sell something too early and you're like, oh no, I could have made like 20 extra gems. It's like you still made 100 gems. Like,
Yeah,
why are you
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
I
um
definitely feel that way all the time. Go
so
ahead.
this question's for both of you. If you had to sell everything in your collection except for two of your collectibles, what are they?
Oh man, that's a hard one. I'll let Buck go first. Or unless you don't want to.
All right. No, 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 no. I'm going first. Give me my gold dragon girl. Okay, that's my baby. And I'm not gonna lie, it's a toss up between my Becky Cloonan and my Starfire, I would say.
Oh, you got the
I'm kind of on
Starfire.
the I'm kind of on the fence. I do have a Starfire, and I do like that one. It's got a little bit of slight animation on the fire, and I
Yeah.
like it. So those are my choices for sure.
I think I gotta go with I think I got to go Silver Ape for one of them because like I don't know if I don't know if you saw our video, but like I like the X Large clothing brand and I'm like big into them and I have like sweatshirts and shirts of theirs. And so like when I saw that they were coming to Veve, I was just so hype and I love it. I just think like the platinum or like the silver one, like the lighting just looks so good on them. Like they're so crispy. So I think I'd have to go with that maybe. Besides that, I really like the Fat Tony I bought. That's the 1943 because it's the year that
Oh,
Albert Hoffman just like discovered the effects of LSD. And like, if I don't know if you've seen the little thing on
I'm
Fat Tony's tongue, but he's got a little tab on his
Oh,
tongue, and it's like an Easter egg.
I
And I
I'm
I
about to
love
let you
that
down,
one.
Ben.
What did they remove it?
Yeah, I'm joking. They didn't remove it, but I'm pretty sure the background says Ritalin or something. It says
Ritalin.
something
Oh
that's not acid.
Yeah. Either way.
man, that's
I mean,
no big deal.
yeah,
But
it's still
besides
fine.
that, I like the R2D2. I really like that, but I think I'd have to go like, man, this is hard. I don't know. I think I'd maybe have to go with my Count Chocula in terms of profit. Like I got in at like 145 or something for Count Chocula. So like
Yeah.
in
What's
terms of
that at now?
profit,
Like
that
600 something?
yeah, I mean it was in the 800s, but also dropping. I love the Assassin too. I feel like Butt really likes
Oh, yeah.
that. I don't. This is way too hard for me to choose too. Honestly, like those are probably some of my tops, but Superman, I
Those are
like the
good
Superman.
choices. Those are good choices because I think that the Silver X Large is going to be great with Showroom 2.0 coming
V2,
up, right?
yeah,
Oh my gosh, I
yeah,
cannot wait to see the lighting changes that they have made because like
yeah.
they
Weren't
hyped
you
that up so long ago, and I
Yeah.
am just so excited to see what that is now.
weren't you saying you were hyped for your Silver Dragon Girl in the V2? Yeah.
Yeah, man, silver, gold. I mean, like
I
anything
wish
that's silver and gold is gonna look just sick.
Yeah, I wish I had saved my Silver Dragon Girl. I sold it off for profit, but I mean, that's one of those things like you can't get caught up in it. But
Yeah,
man,
who knows?
that
You may end up with another one too. I
yeah,
mean,
that
it just might be the right place at the right time.
just a beautiful piece of art. I wanted to ask, okay, I wanted to ask about your drop strategy real quick, and I also wanted to ask about like your thoughts on like gamification, and what you think, like if you think it's gonna happen, and like maybe like a timeline because I mean you've probably heard us say before, but we think Marvel Mighties might be first with Pixion Games. I don't know if you've seen that stuff, but I mean we played the Pixion game and like they have the dynamics and everything, like the actual like mechanics of the game feel pretty good, like it feels developed. And I mean if they pretty much just get the collectibles in the game, I feel like that would be a great like starter. And then besides that, I know we've heard stuff about the Labbits and potential there, but I just wanted to know your thoughts on gamification.
I'm a little bit less moon boyish on the gamification mentality. Gamification's kind of a slightly misleading word because it has the word game in it, I would say.
Yeah,
So like a lot of people get this idea that it means like, oh, we're going to be playing games, but ultimately it's not really what gamification means. So I like to kind of like hold back my expectations. Do I think that Vivi is going to make a video game? No. Do I think
yeah,
that Vivi could team up with somebody
yeah,
to do something like that? Yes. So I think that like ultimately the Master Collector program is like literally quote unquote gamification by the actual like literal definition, but like so like I think that that is going to be fantastic, and anything that they implement like that will be great. Like as far as like app-based gamification, as far as like gamification with like actual NFTs and like whether we will be able to do stuff with the actual NFTs as far as gaming is concerned, I'm less certain about that. Um, a lot of this stuff is way trickier than it seems.
yeah.
Maybe I have a little bit more like in-depth knowledge with some of it, but I promise you, it's a lot more trickier than it seems. And so
Yeah,
I'm a little bit less moon boyish on a lot of this stuff just because I have that perspective, I would say.
What's your favorite brand that you think could possibly come besides Pokemon?
Um, I mean, I feel like everybody's gonna say Dragon Ball Z, right? Everybody's gonna say that. I mean, that's a good choice for me. I did like Dragon Ball Z when I was growing up. I don't like, see, like I think about it right now. I don't really like use that many brands or follow that many brands so closely right now, and so like it's hard for me to even think. Um, I would say like if they were to add some Diablo 2 NFTs, I would be all over them because I love Diablo 2. It's like my
yeah,
all-time favorite game of all time, like bar none, not even close. Beyond that, besides that, obviously Dragon Ball Z would be cool. Um, and other similar things. I mean, I'm also a fan of Family Guy, so it'd be cool to see some Family Guy stuff on there. I mean,
Yeah.
not that I'm like dying to see Family Guy, but it would be eventually
Yeah.
kind of something I like, and maybe some other ones too. King of the Hill,
I want South Park so
yeah,
bad. I
South
love
Park,
South
or
Park.
um,
That Street Fighter, if that
Yeah.
anything like that Street Fighter little clip we
oh, the
have.
game, yeah, right,
Have
yeah.
you seen that the AR like fighting with Street Fighter?
Yeah,
That
yeah,
clip?
I've seen that. I've seen that. That's certainly something that I would love to see.
Yeah.
Making two augmented reality entities interact with one
Yeah.
another, I assure you, it's not easy. I promise you, it's not as easy as it seems. I promise you that. So I would love to see something like that. I would love to have something like that for Pokemon, obviously, for Yu-Gi-Oh, for whatever, right? We would obviously love to have something like that. I'm hopeful, I would say, is what a best way to describe it. I'm hopeful. I'm optimistic and hopeful, but at the same time, I'm unfortunately realistic. And so I know that as much as I would like any of this stuff, I mean, like we're years away from any of this stuff at best.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it kind of sucks. So
Yeah. I definitely agree. I think like when we mention this stuff, we are thinking long term, unless like they do partner with someone like crazy who they've been working with behind scenes and stuff for like years. But yeah, I mean, a lot of the stuff we talk about when we speculate is like very, down the pipeline, because the
yeah,
stage we're at right now, we're still very early and stuff. And so I definitely, it's very interesting.
yeah,
Oh man, I'm so hyped for what we've got to come, because
I
there's
know. Me too.
so many possibilities.
And there's so many great catalysts coming up for the only
Yeah.
token in general. I mean, we've got, I just think about just listing us on other exchanges is
Yeah.
such a huge catalyst. Like
Yeah.
it's like just that alone. If that was like the only thing on the horizon, I would be bullish. And
Yeah.
that's not the only thing on the
Yeah,
horizon.
there's
There's like
so
three
much.
other things that are equally as big also on the horizon. So I'm like, holy smokes. So I'm right there with you guys. I'm like so excited for the future, man. And I'm happy you guys are here with me. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm happy that you guys are here sharing this with me, man. It feels good. And man, you guys are killing it, man. I don't know. You guys are gonna pass me up in subs here any day. But are you guys monetized yet? You guys
No, we've
gotta get
applied
the
for
watch times.
monetization like so many times and just get denied with no explanation. So
You probably
like
need to get more watch time up.
we have like
we have, like-
6,000 plus hours, I'm pretty sure. Like we met the watch time before we could even apply. Like I don't understand what the issue is. Like
Maybe
no
it's a
idea.
timing thing. Yeah, I don't know. It
yeah.
took me a
Literally
while,
like
but
every day we resubmit it.
hey man, keep
Trying to
grinding, man.
get it, yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
you
I
guys are
mean-
diligent. You guys are gonna get it figured out. Trust me. Just
Yeah.
keep on hitting it. Make sure you read everything closely. Make sure you're not missing something, and you guys are gonna get it figured out. And they'll start to give you guys some cash just for making videos every day. And it's not gonna be a ton of money. You guys
Yeah,
are gonna
yeah.
be millionaires, but
No.
you guys are gonna be able to at least get some fruits of your labor. You know what I mean? And so it'll
Yeah.
feel very nice for sure. And then
I'm
you guys can drop it into Veve. You guys can drop it into content stuff. You guys can do anything.
man,
It's gonna be
okay.
awesome.
I want to hear your thoughts on OpenSea and other NFTs that you've seen compared to Veve and how you feel about that. Because I don't know, when I see them, like I just don't see a comparison really. I just, in terms of like the actual product, like especially where Vive's at in the early stages, I'm like, I don't know. Like I see Veve, coming out on top. And then I also, I wanted to ask about you branching out in your content, because I saw you posted the Pokemon card unboxing or like the pack opening earlier. And I don't know. I just do you have any ideas for kind of like where you want to branch out? Because I mean, I think the Pokemon, pack opening is like the perfect, like that's a nice little extra segment to your vids. Like, I don't know if you're super big on Pokemon or if you started collecting those early, but I mean, I want to hear a couple of those things.
Yeah. Okay. I might need you to repeat the first question because I'm already kind of forgetting it. But to the second question first, really quick. I've got a trillion Pokemon packs. I've got so many.
Woo.
I'm a Pokemon investor. Like I'm not a collector. I'm an investor, like legit an investor. And so, actually, there's a perfect transition into this.
Let's
So,
go.
Let's
I got a
go.
Pokemon
Let's
card in the
go.
mail today, and I buy random Pokemon cards, and I also buy Pokemon packs. And so the Pokemon card that I got today, it's kind of a random one, but it's one that I really wanted to have in my collection. And that's going to be a Beedrill. And it's a
Okay,
Pokemon
bad.
Tops card. It's super shiny. It's Beedrill. And it's also in
Hey,
really good condition,
cute.
so I kind of like these style cards too. These ones aren't like the traditional Pokemon cards; these
Yeah.
are called Topps cards. But I really like these cards a lot. They're
Yeah.
from when I was a kid. They're so nostalgic for me.
Yeah.
So that was the one. With that being said, when I first started my YouTube channel, I kind of that's what I was doing was making because like I thought I maybe like I was like before Veve, I was just like, yeah, I'll try to do some Pokemon openings, but
Did you
I
delete those
definitely
videos?
I have them hidden, yeah, but
Oh,
I
okay.
think I can definitely like I want to include them in there because Pokemon is a huge passion of mine.
Yeah.
I buy so many Pokemon cards, you guys have no idea. Like all this Veve stuff is kind of like it came after Pokemon. I promise you, I'm big on Pokemon. I love buying Pokemon cards. I love buying sealed Pokemon product. I love buying individual Pokemon
Ooh,
cards as we have here. Um, I've got some. I got actually literally sitting right next to me. I've got some cards that I recently pulled for a pack. I had brought an old school pack with me to like my family Thanksgiving, and I opened a pack of German old school Pokemon cards with my family. And so these are some German cards that I got. And
that's
so
clean.
got some of these OG German cards. And so, yeah, man, I'm a huge Pokemon collector. I would love to like incorporate that in my content
Yeah.
and maybe make some contacts with some Pokemon people because I watch Pokemon content so often. Like a lot of what I consume is Pokemon content too. So I just
Dang.
like anything. But what was your
Yeah.
first question though? Because
I
it was a good question.
I'd love to see the Pokemon content too, but the first question was just like comparing VV
Oh,
NFTs or
NFTs to
collectibles to
OpenSea.
OpenSea
OpenSea.
or just
Okay.
other NFTs out there.
This is one thing I did want to talk about because I think that there's like a real chance that like Vivi gets to OpenSea and it absolutely crushes OpenSea's
Yeah.
NFTs, right? That's always a possibility. I see that as one possibility. I also see a possibility where Vivi goes to OpenSea and people on OpenSea kind of don't realize what they have for a minute. And so like the prices kind of go down, but then they absolutely skyrocket when people are like, oh crap, these are actually licensed NFTs. What I do think is that I think that the NFTs will actually do well on OpenSea because I do tend to agree with kind of the mentality that I've seen Gary Vee share, where he talks about how licensed NFTs are going to be important. And I do think that's very important. And so I think they're going to do well. I definitely see a world where they hit the OpenSea market and they absolutely crush immediately. I also see a world where they hit the OpenSea market and they're very underwhelming. At least they seem like they are.
Yeah.
And then, give it a tiny bit of time and they absolutely start crushing
Yeah.
when people are like, oh crap, these are like the real deal, real deal. So
Yeah.
like that's kind of the way I see it. I think those are the two most likely scenarios. I mean, that's the way I see it. I'm a little bit moon boyish on it to some degree, but like that's how I feel about it.
What do you think about like the one of ones versus like, one of 2,000, one of, 7,000, one of 8,000? Do you think that'll matter? Or do you think the license will kind of overdo the one of one and the product itself? Since like, I don't know of any others you can pull up an AR and look at and, walk around them, place them in your showroom and do all of that because it's all, 2D on your screen, or maybe it's linked to like some kind of crypto game or something. But even then, I just don't think the products compare really to VV.
Yeah, I think like the amount of things that exist directly impacts its price. So I think that there's something to be said about that. With that being said, though, there's a lot of NFTs that aren't anything. They don't represent anything. They're just
Yeah.
made up by some random guy. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so who cares? Right. And that's how I feel about a lot of crypto projects. And it's kind of mean to some other people that are big fans of other crypto projects.
Yeah.
But I'm just kind of like, this isn't a thing. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah. Like these
if I
random
have a,
portrait products or
yeah,
projects. That's one that really like I still am so confused. If anyone can ever explain that to me, please do, because I just like the lions or apes or whatever they are with like some sunglasses and a mustache and a hat. Like it doesn't
yeah.
do it for me. I don't
It's
know.
like if you have all these statues of different characters, and then like there's one for like a random character you never heard of called like Henry the Goat, like you would take Batman. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
this isn't
definitely.
anything. This isn't a thing. You know what I mean? It's just not a thing. So it's that's how I feel about it. I'm a little bit harsh about that, but I watch a lot of other NFT content as well, and so that's truly how I feel about it. Is that like when it comes to Vivi, we're dealing with like licensed actual pieces that are like verifiably licensed. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I feel like trying to convince somebody that about NFTs and everything, right when you like pull up like the brands and everything, I feel like that's when it gets them, especially like my parents and
Yeah.
stuff. Like if I were be trying to sell them a Bored Ape, they'd be like,
Yeah.
what is
Why'd you
that?
buy this for $10,000?
Millions of dollars. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you, man. I'm like, I can't, like, I couldn't, you can't explain what it is to somebody. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
why, like, you can't explain why it's something that's sought after. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's like the problem with it. It's like, I can explain why Batman sought after. It's a character that's existed for, you know,
Yeah.
almost 100 years, right? So, like,
And then
of
like
course.
there's always that argument of like, oh, it's a JPEG, you can copy and paste it. And even though, that's flawed and everything, like anybody you're trying to sell it on is just going to go like, why did you pay for like that picture or whatever? And even if there's utility or whatever, like meetups for that like project, I definitely agree with you. But yeah, I just wanted to hear your thoughts on that because man, I can't wait for just migration or whatever. Things are going to be crazy.
Man.
Yeah, go ahead, Carter.
When like Omi to Gem happens, are you thinking about moving any Omi to the collectibles or collectibles to Omi, or are you thinking about cashing out a little and putting it into like Pokemon cards, or what's your plan on that?
Well, definitely not Pokemon cards. I've got my own separate money for Pokemon cards. Definitely not that. I would say, if anything, I would be more inclined to sell collectibles for Omi, just because the collectibles have appreciated faster than I expected.
Yeah.
I would say that would be my answer.
Solid. Yeah, I mean, I'm not big into it, but I'm still trying to figure that out for myself because I mean, who knows when it's coming, but when it does, yeah, I'm definitely Omi's price right now too. I mean, we're still just things in general so early. So figuring out, where I want to put my eggs in which basket it's a hard one because
Yeah, it
every
is
basket
hard.
is golden. Like,
You're right. I know, right? Yeah, it's tough, man. And trust me, I feel like the Pokemon basket's golden sometimes too. Man, I've got a balance between VV and cryptocurrencies and Pokemon, and it's tough, man.
do you mainly just collect Pokemon or do you ever like sell off or flip or anything like that?
I don't sell anything really. I just acquire stuff. Like, I want to be a millionaire, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have you been scammed on Pokemon or VV before? Or anything? No.
No, I don't think so. No.
That's
I had my
nice.
bike stolen once.
Yeah.
I had my bike
No,
stolen once.
whoever stole
but,
that, give his bike back. No,
I know,
Yeah.
man. It was a mongoose, man. I was so proud of it. But
no.
I'm pretty cautious, and I'm just too lazy to get scammed. I'm like, it's hard to scam me because I'm so lazy. You know what I mean? I'm one of those people. It's hard to scam lazy people.
Yeah. Have you like pulled any gems, like done any transactions like that, or have you just whatever you've put in has stayed in and you've flipped your way up to what you are at now and stuff? Okay.
Yeah, I haven't put much in. I mean, no, this just basically been flipping.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm probably in maybe probably $4,000 tops, but
okay.
I have way more in collectibles than that, right?
Yeah.
Like, way
Yeah.
more. So
Yeah. Dang. I mean, I don't, Carter, if you have any VV questions, go ahead. I have a
I
couple.
I just have a couple regular questions too.
All right. I mean, one of them is I loved your point when you shouted us out, you mentioned consistency. And one, like, definitely some inspiration when we started our channel. And I want to thank you for that. But to anybody watching and thinking about it, like when Carter and I started, and I'm sure similar to you, like how you explained your startup, like it's just starting. Like you just got to do it. And consistency, I think, is key. And kind of tying into that is like, how do you like deal with like the whole algorithm, or do you pretty much just put content out what you want to? Do you title it what you want to, or do you kind of consider like, oh, in order to like actually get people to click on this, or for it to like be successful with the algorithm, do I have to do this, blah blah, or do you pretty much just put out what you want and leave it how it is?
um I would say closer to the latter, but like, I do try to play the algorithm as much as I can. Like, lately
Yeah.
I've been noticing that the algorithm has been favoring when I put thumbnails where, like, I am actually in the thumbnail. So
Yeah.
you'll notice if you go to my channel, my past couple of videos, like, all my thumbnails are like, they're of me with collectibles in them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's because, like, that's what I think that the algorithm wants. And so to some degree, I kind of like do what I think they want me to do.
Yeah.
you know.
That's
And
funny.
but for the most part though, I don't feel like I'm anybody's like employee, and I kind of just do what I want to do. And so
Yeah.
like at the end of the day, I'm not gonna make myself feel like I'm anybody's employee. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do what I can to just make that be like feel like what it is.
Yeah, it's definitely funny though, getting caught up like playing the game of the algorithm and just like how goofy that is in general. But I mean,
Yeah.
you have to some extent. You definitely have to consider, like you were saying, like if you see a certain type of videos doing popular or you're getting feedback, like because we got feedback, like put your faces in the videos so I know it's your channel or whatever. And we started doing that and stuff, and that probably helped. So it's
Yeah.
definitely interesting.
Yeah.
Carter, I don't know if you want to shoot. I have like one that I want to close with kind of, and I'll try to see if I have any others, but you can go ahead.
Okay. So we know we talked about Pokemon cards and Vivi, but like, are there any other hobbies that you have?
Um.
I know you're big on sports, big on
Well,
football.
Oh
I
yeah.
watch. I'm a sports watcher. I'm not much of a
Yeah.
sports
Do
player.
you
You know, I'm a
do you
sports
bet a lot?
watcher. I love betting. I love betting on DraftKings. I love betting on DraftKings. I love it. Um, as far as like, I love that. That's like definitely one of my hobbies. I love the UFC. I absolutely love UFC.
Yeah.
I love UFC. I love gambling on UFC, but I like just UFC in general, anyways.
Yeah.
Um, Beyond that, I love playing Diablo 2. It's like easily my favorite video game. And then beyond that, I don't really have any other hobbies other than I like to make sure I like to walk every day. I try to make sure I get
Yeah.
almost
I
a
saw
mile
that
in at
with the
least if I can
steps.
try. Yeah, I try to get the steps in if I can. Like there was a while where I wasn't doing that in my life, and it was like I was like literally like forgetting how to walk dang here. And so like I'm just trying to make sure I take my steps every day, you know?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
definitely that ties into something I kind of wanted to ask is like, I mean, you seem busy. I know you wake up super early. Like I can't even force myself to wake up as early because I'll wake up, see your videos like posted 3 hours ago, and it's like 4 or 5 a.m. And I'm like, but what are you doing? Like, how are you doing this, man? So like, did you have to find a balance and kind of like adjust your lifestyle to like, after you've done YouTube, or did you just kind of like you make a little time here and there,
Opposite.
make a video? Oh,
Opposite. This year in particular, I've spent a lot of time like learning about my body, and I actually just go to sleep when my body wants me to go to sleep. Like I sleep at weird times, and that's true, but it's literally when my body tells me to go to sleep. And like if I try to change it, it's just like, no, this is when you're supposed to go. And so
yeah,
I just kind of like built it around that. It happened to work out that the time I sleep makes it so I can make a nice video before work and after work. And so it works out pretty good for me. And that's kind of when I started off, I didn't know what I was doing as far as like how many videos to make. I was just like, whatever, I'll just make two a day,
yeah,
I guess. And like I was trying to get monetized, of course, so I'm just thinking like, oh, this is what's gonna do it fastest, and so I was just like cranking out videos like left and right. So, you know, I kind of just fit it into my schedule. I just fit it around me ultimately. Like
yeah,
I would say like I would certainly I certainly like don't think that it's really worth it for me to like adjust my life to do VV stuff because like I can do VV stuff whenever, it
yeah.
can kind of fit around my schedule. So I just sleep when I want, when my body wants to, which is like right now, ultimately, right? Like I'm ready for bed, right? So, um,
So sorry we're keeping
no,
you.
no, 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 it's all good. But yeah, no, yeah, man, it's a little bit wild. My schedule is definitely bonkers. I probably wake up at like, I would say like average, I wake up at like 3 a.m. on
Oh my
average is probably what I
God.
would
Jeez.
say.
Oh my.
It's kind of crazy. I know. It's kind of crazy. Sometimes I wake up at 1 a.m. and sometimes I wake up at like 5 a.m. It varies though, but it's just like on average it's 3. It's
Yeah.
kind of weird, but like I said, it's just like what my body wants. When my body wants me to sleep, I don't argue. I just listen.
Yeah. There you go. Carter, do you have anything else?
So what's your social security number?
My social security number is 390. No, I'm just kidding.
So two more questions. What's your favorite food and where is like your dream place to live?
Ooh, okay. Dream place to live has been switching. I mean, dream place to live was Miami for a while. I'm starting to think that I would be like willing to settle with Texas. Okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
so that's where I'm at right now. Now, for food, oh, right now it's Chinese food all day long. I
Okay.
mean, like,
Got those leftovers in the fridge.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, you
sir.
got the
give me a lo
leftovers.
mein, right? I know, right? Right now it's Chinese food. I've been absolutely going to Chinese food all the time. Like, it's a go. It's just
It is nice. be hitting
I don't
pretty
know.
much all the
I
time.
go through phases, you know. I go through phases just like
Yeah.
everybody else. And right now it's Chinese food, no doubt. There's so many things I love though, you know. I love frosted flakes, you know. I can make an argument it's frosted flakes, you know. But I don't know. Right now it's Chinese food though. Lo mein is what I had today. It's very good.
Sheesh. Woo. I last kind of VV question, then I'll kind of get into the two wrap up questions. But what do you think, in terms of a like investment standpoint, what do you think is like one or a couple of like the best investments that you could get into on VV? I mean, I'm sure there's like those blue chips, but just your opinion on like what you think if you were starting right now and you had, however much money to invest, like what are you going for? What are you picking up?
I would not buy anything from the marketplace
Yeah.
unless it's like around a drop time. I would be focusing on getting drops. And then if I'm unsuccessful at getting drops, I would be focusing on buying collectibles shortly after drops happen because I think that's when the most opportunity is outside of drops.
Yeah.
So I would say that's where I would be focused on. I would say like when it comes to VV, just kind of generally, I don't hate the idea of kind of having like kind of a diversified collection of like collectibles. That was kind of
Yeah.
a weird way to phrase it, but like I don't hate having DC and Disney and all these different brands. So like I think if you can kind of start building toward that, where you kind of start to grab some brands that you really gravitate towards and kind of build up your portfolio. Here, I finally have a bunch of DC pieces. Now I want to get my Marvel pieces up, and now I want to get my Disney pieces up.
Yeah.
I think that's like kind of a good way to kind of approach the thought process, I would say.
Yeah.
And then try to build like a diversified portfolio. And then you can kind of tell yourself what percentage do you want to have in comics? What percentage do you want to have in collectibles? And you can kind of make a plan there. And I think that there's no right answer. So it's tricky to say. So if I was going to be starting right now though, and like I lost my account, I was just starting from scratch, I would be trying to go for drops and I would be trying to buy collectibles definitely around drop time for sure. Like as far as like trying to like start out a collection, that's what I would be focused on for sure.
Yeah. I definitely agree. Like in terms of buying on the market, like, yeah, you could buy a TODD for like 2K or something, but you could, buy a drop for like 60 and end up maybe flipping it for like hundreds, and then you have that, just buy another drop, flip it again. And that's definitely a perspective I like. And that's kind of what I've been doing, why I don't make as many moves and stuff. But I definitely think, to any beginners out there, just keep trying for the drops, just keep going. And eventually you'll hit something. If you want to sell it, you can sell it, make a decent amount of profit, and then just keep moving. But okay. Second to last question. What's the story behind the squirrel? I saw the squirrel mug the other day too. Are you making like merch or something? Because we were also considering making like, I don't know if Carter wants to say this, but I don't think it's a big deal, but we were thinking about making like mugs. We're also trying to look for like a tea sponsor. If there's any tea sponsors out there, hit us up because we'd love it. But yeah, what is the story behind that in the mug?
So the story behind it is I live on like the third floor of an apartment building effectively. And I have like these pet squirrels that come by me and they like come from the roof and they climb down and they come on my balcony and I would feed them peanuts and they would just keep coming every single day. And I just keep feeding them and they come and they were literally here yesterday. And I don't have any peanuts right now, but I just feed them whatever I have because it's like winter time. So they're just trying to get fat. So like, I literally like give them, sour cream, cheddar and sour cream chips, Lay's cheddar,
the Ruffles or whatever.
Yeah, Ruffles, cheddar, sour cream, and they absolutely love them. And so I just have these squirrels that just come around and they come up here and they take food directly from my hand. It's kind of awesome. It's kind of funny. They'll literally like grab the food from my hand. Squirrels are like the most gentle creatures too, by the way, in case you didn't know. They're very skittish, as you guys know, but like they're very gentle if you do end up getting close to them. They're very cautious, and so I like squirrels. They're kind of cool. Like now that I've made friends with them, they're kind of dope. So
I encountered one time. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, it just started off with them like coming onto my balcony one day. I would just like wake up and they would just be chilling out here, and I would like try to talk to them at first, and I was like, oh wait, I can just give them food, and so just started, man. I just started feeding them.
And then the mug, did you get that custom made or buy?
That was that my mom bought that for me.
Oh, okay.
It says squirrel worship, or sorry, it says Squirrel Whisperer on it. That's what it says on it, Squirrel Whisperer.
That's perfect.
Because she knows about me and my squirrels. So.
Wow, what a lovely gift. Yeah, I mean, I've been in contact with one squirrel as a little baby, and I was like, it was super chill. Like I had like some kind of food I think I gave it, and then like I saw like fleas on it and stuff, and I was like, oh god. And then there were like dogs around and stuff, and I had to separate from the squirrel. I had to part ways, even though I didn't want to, but I didn't want to like bring the fleas and then get them on the dog, and then all other, you know where that goes. But
Sure.
My
Go ahead.
grandma's old neighbor. I don't know if you ever saw it, Ben, but like
occasionally.
yeah. So they got like an injured squirrel or something. They like had like they brought it in, and it was a baby when they brought it in, and they like raised it and everything. Like they named it, have a little cage inside, had a little fort thing up in a huge tree outside, and then the squirrel ended up having babies like later, and has like, so now they have like 3 or 4 baby squirrels and the regular one that all just like come up to their porch, just throw a bunch of like nuts all over the ground. They have names for all of them. It's so sweet.
Okay. We got the final question here. Sorry, we'll let you go to bed here.
Yeah,
but...
no, I'm getting ready for bed. So yeah,
So you're in the Midwest, right? I mean,
that's true. Yeah.
We're in the Midwest, and I don't know if you are into, in-person stuff, but I was just wondering, like, if you'd be open to like, setting, I mean, no rush on this or anything. We can obviously sort details out, but I'd love to do like some kind of meetup. I don't know how, eager Carter is on it, but I'd like to be able to do that at some point, especially if Veve really grows, both of our channels grow and stuff like that. I just think it would be awesome to be able to do some kind of meetup, especially if we could take pictures with collectibles or anything like that, but just kind of chill with some homies. And I mean, you open to that?
Yeah, no doubt, man. I'm definitely down. I live close to some people that are Omi creators. I know that, but I live in Wisconsin, man.
Yeah, I'm in Illinois, so.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're real close.
Okay. As long as you live in Illinois is really close to Wisconsin. I mean, Illinois is like,
I'm pretty sure I'm
very
like
close to Wisconsin.
really, really close to you, but
yeah, probably. But the thing is too, is like, I mean, the Gale and Cavell, they're both Chicago folk. And so like, there's like all these people that are all very close to one another, and you guys are right there in the mix now too.
Yeah.
And so there's a very real possibility that like we could ultimately have a pretty sizable Veve meetup with just a half an hour drive, because honestly, like I can drive to Illinois. I mean, it probably takes like an hour to get to Illinois from where I'm at. Probably about an hour.
Yeah.
Nothing too crazy to get to the border.
Yeah.
So that's not that bad.
I didn't
Ultimately,
even.
I've driven way farther than that, obviously.
Yeah. I didn't even know that the Gale and Cavell were that close too. So I don't know. We'll have to do something and maybe just kind of organize something in the near future. But that's just something I've been looking forward to, is kind of just meeting up in person, meet some homies, chill out.
We got to try to get, that's why we should just try to get the Veve team to come to Chicago, because then we can just get everybody together.
Yeah, I want to see an event in Chicago for
that.
Sure.
Would be crazy. Like perfect. But
like that's where everybody's at. Like that's where we need to be. I feel like that's where we got to go. So
let's go. Well,
let's go.
Let us know if you guys enjoyed this little podcast here. It was an absolute honor having the legendary Butt Thompson, who's back with another stop.
Let's go
on the channel. If you guys want to see it again, let us know down in the comments, because I mean, this has been great. I'm sure
let us know.
We'll probably try to set something up, but I mean, it's been awesome.
This went so smooth, guys. We can set this up easily, man. This went so smooth. Just we got the lines of communication open now, and we can throw this together easy.
Yeah.
So I'm pumped up, man. I'm so fired up, man. Let's go.
All right.
Let's go.
Everybody make sure to go subscribe to Butt Thompson's channel. First linked in the description. Anything else anybody wants to add?
No, that's all I got. Let's go.
All right. If you guys like the video, drop a like, subscribe if you want to see more. Hit the little bell icon next to the subscribe button if you want to be notified whenever we post. This is Veve Vision and Butt Thompson, and we'll see you guys in the next video.
Catch you guys later.
Let's go. Homies. Let's go. Let's go, homies. Let's go.